everybody, my name is Pup Team from the Geeky Puppet Show, and we are here today, me and Froggy, to review Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And boy, oh boy, we've got a lot to say. We're going to take a few seconds just to go ahead and give you a warning. If you clicked on this, you saw the spoilers in the title, but this is a fair warning because it just came out pretty much yesterday. There are going to be a lot of spoilers. A ton of spoilers. We are not holding anything back. Isn't that right, Froggy?
Hold me back. Hold me back.
No, I can't. I can't hold you back. We have to go all in because there is a lot to unpack. So if you are worried about spoilers, you need to go now and come back later because we're so excited to talk about this movie. All right, that's about it. Are you ready? Yes, Graphic Man, you have been warned, indeed. And Marani is going to be disappointed if you didn't cameo in the movie. Were you in there, Froggy?
In where?
In the movie.
Oh, in this? Yeah, I was behind the guy with the mustard on his face.
Oh, right. Should have known.
I stole some pizza rolls. Or balls. Pizza balls, as they're called.
That's right. Well, you got to pay the pizza papa, okay? Oh, okay. That being said, let's go ahead and dig it. So this movie starts out with action. You actually get to see a Doctor Strange hopping across this mystical-looking area as they are approaching the Book of Ashanti. He and America Chavez. And they are being chased by a toilet paper mummy monster. Yes. It is a little silly when I say it out loud, but that's what he looks like. And ultimately, this monster gets the upper hand and seems to block him. Doctor Strange in America, at least this Doctor Strange, other Strange, they have a decent relationship, it looks like, a good friendship, but he looks over at America as the Book of Ashanti is right there, and he says, "I'm sorry. I have to take your power. You can't control it." And he starts to drain her of her abilities. She's starting to freak out a bit, and that's when Doctor Strange, the other Doctor Strange, is stabbed. Yes, stabbed straight through. And it seems that the monster is going to take America, has her strung up, but the dying Strange, with his last moments, is able to throw a spell and sets her free as a star appears behind her, and she falls straight through. I'm stuck. My bad. Please stop. This is so unprofessional.
This is madness. Pure madness.
That's right. My reality is falling. And that is such a bombastic way to just start the movie.
You know what it is?
What?
You're suffering from an incursion.
All right. Yeah, that's right, because when you go to another universe, you start corrupting it. That's a new rule.
I already corrupted my own universe.
Oh, yes, you have. You've definitely corrupted this one. With that as the start, though, it definitely sets a precedent for what to expect, and to go from there to Doctor Strange getting dressed in a suit is a little jarring. But it turns out he was going to a wedding for his former interest, Christine Palmer.
Yeah, now this is kind of interesting because it's been a while since I watched the first movie. I forgot that she's still alive because I watched the What If. Remember, she dies.
Yeah.
In the car accident.
Yeah.
That was kind of interesting to see that. I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. She's not dead. And Rachel McAdams, still smoking hot.
Oh, yeah, I agree. She's very attractive. And
I can see why the Doctor Strange are obsessed.
But ultimately, He says that he's happy whenever she comes by, but there's this sense that he's really not. But that's when the streets start getting invaded. I love this feeling because this is exactly what you get when you read a classic book. You sit down, open a classic book, and what's happening here? And this hero just jumps into the street, and he is able to reveal a creature with one eye and a lot of tentacles. This isn't Japanese though, so don't worry, Froggy. And ultimately, there's a fight. Wong comes into the picture. They are able to take it down. And why? Well, why was it there? Because it was chasing down America Chavez, who they quickly take to this diner, and they want her to answer some questions. She doesn't trust Strange initially because the other one tried to kill her, take her powers. But she reveals that she has the ability to travel through dimensions. And ultimately something wants to take her. Something wants to take her abilities, kill her, and she doesn't know who or what, and neither does the other Strange, but they want to find out. Well, after consulting with Wong for a minute, they realized that on the creature were runes. That means witchcraft is involved. So they go to the only witch they really know, and do. It's Wanda. And we actually get to see her with her kids for a second. Billy and what's the other one, please? Billy.
No. Billy's
you don't remember?
No, I quit that show halfway through.
Well, that was a mistake.
But no, because it played out exactly the way I thought she was going to be. A villain.
Well, that's revealing, yes, because Strange goes over there and says that they need her help, that they can get her back on the lunchbox.
It's revealed that she basically has been corrupted by the Darkhold.
Yeah, she's been using the Darkhold.
She must have got. I think that's what Agatha Harkness had in the series finale.
Yes, and it is definitely confirmed. At the end there, Wanda took the book and she was pretending to have a normal existence where, like, she's pouring tea while in the other room you see her actually studying the Darkhold and digging through what looks to be little windows, and she hears her kids. And that sets this up because ultimately she explains, she slips up and says, well, you can bring America here, when Doctor Strange never said her name. And she realizes, well, there's nothing more they could say. No, Graphic Man, it's not Billy and Bobby Joe. It's Billy and
justice for Bobby Joe. She ran in the woods.
The secret Scarlet Witch kid.
Oh, Bobby Joe ran out in the woods and never came back.
Yeah.
They found her.
And
Evil Dead 2.
Wanda, in this moment, takes such a moment to truly set herself as the villain of this movie.
Oh, she explains. Is it Adam? Is it Billy and Adam?
No.
Okay.
But you get to see as she just takes her own. She goes full on in. It's very sinister, and I really like it a lot. Elizabeth Olsen is quite great. And at that moment, she allows Strange to go, and he heads back to Carmitage.
You know what? I hate to interrupt you. I just want to say, who would have thought there'd be an Olsen girl that I was attracted to? Who would have thought there would be an actual Olsen girl that I was attracted to? Because the Olsen twins,
we don't
want so hot on the looks right now.
We don't want to talk about them. We have Elizabeth Olsen.
We have the better.
Yes,
the one who has the best genes.
She does really fill out those jeans. But anyway, getting back to the conversation at point before we're canceled.
I'm sorry. She's got those hot hip hugging mama jeans.
Okay, Froggy. Jeez. Settle down.
I can't have my my hot Ethan Hawke. I'll have my hot Elizabeth Olsen then.
Oh, you can't have people. That's illegal. But
not true. If I have the Darkhold, I can have anyone.
Oh no, Tommy. Yes, thank you,
Tommy. Yeah, because yeah. Two characters I just never read because I just didn't care about them, and then one will end up being gay, I think.
Ed Brewer, we're not going to discuss that on this channel.
We're not. I was kind of funny because it's like that's the only thing I know about the character, that he was gay, and I was like, okay. I never really read the Scarlet Witch stuff.
Well, he's a child right now, so that doesn't really matter.
Yes.
But here we get to see, as in Carmitage, they prepare for the Scarlet Witch to come, and she does. There's this massive red mist cloud that approaches, and Wanda's floating, and she's, well, at a distance, and Wong says to Strange to go up there and make good, do us proud, and there's no stopping Wanda here, because he goes up and to explain they can't let you have we can't let you have America. We can't. That's just not doable. And Wanda, he wants Wanda to be reasonable, and Wanda says she has. This entire time, she's been reasonable. Sending these creatures, that's being reasonable. All of this has been thus far. But now, now she deals with the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah,
and they shield up.
I just gotta say there was some Easter eggs in that throughout this too. When we originally see Billy and Tommy though in this later on, they're watching it's called Oswald the Lucky Rabbit short.
Yes.
Disney show. Go ahead.
Yes. I mean, they're also watching later on Snow White, I believe. So.
Yeah. And so Doris, yep.
A little bit of Disney in there. It's okay.
Oh yeah, the Green Minotaur creature.
Deep breath.
Remember the Green Minotaur guy?
Yes.
Kamartaj. He's from the it's also called he's basically Rintra, a being from the planet Raval, who was first introduced in 1986 Doctor Strange number 80.
Well, I'm going to just go ahead and say
later comes his apprentice.
At the end of this movie, there are credits that show faces, and for some reason, the Green Oxman is one of these people. I don't know why he has one line, but good for him.
That was a comic poll cameo.
Yes. This interaction right here, this situation, they set up a shield and they're trying to protect America. Wanda can't break through. So what does she do? She looks into some of the
Wong says, guard your minds, because she's trying to influence you, and she does. She gets into one of them, and she says, run. So he runs, he bumps the other ones, causes the hole in the shield. She fires a giant pink energy blast, coming up, Kamehameha, like Goku, and just destroys everyone, pretty much knocks them out with a giant explosive concussion. This leads to a battle with, Doctor Strange.
Yeah. There's a trap whenever Wanda is going to step up and go through Doctor Strange, because he says he's going to have to go through him, and she ends up in the mirror dimension.
You know the comics, though? When you're fighting a being that can just change reality, I guess they are that desperate because she turns the mirrors into liquid.
Yeah. She's able to just dip her hand right through, and she's able to use the reflections, and she starts dragging people through.
She went full Mirror Master.
Straight up horror movie. Sam Raimi has went ahead and he was sending chills throughout me.
If you're a fan of the Evil Dead movies, you're gonna get a lot of stuff like that. As far as she crawls out of the mirror of this gong, or she crawls, and she's just like Exorcist crawling.
Yes.
Her limbs, and she stands up, and then her body is all nasty and dark, looks like a demon, and then she basically crawls back into normal form, and it just snaps into place. I was like, holy crap, this is kind of like the way that her body snaps and contorts and stuff. You remember All of Us Are Dead? You ever watch that, the Korean show, with the zombies when they first turn?
No.
And that's all. Did you watch it? It's a good show. Yeah. This movie, wow. It's a bit creepy. And that's good because they let Sam Raimi actually tell a movie. And I don't think there was much studio influence on this because, holy crap, is this a great movie.
I know. I actually want to take a moment, pause from us recounting what happens to say that in this movie, you can some people will definitely expect that Disney, they had their major hand, they had their way. No. Scarlet Witch in this is able to hold her own as a villain in this movie, which is totally unexpected from the marketing. It looked like it was going to be a team-up movie, honestly.
Oh, yeah, they really sold this on making her look like, they're going to help her go against the evil version of him. But it's not true. It was a bait and switch.
Yeah.
As soon as you found out that I forgot that she had the Darkhold. Because I didn't watch the end of the series, so I guess if someone who did watch the series, you should expect her to be the villain. Because the Darkhold corrupts.
I wasn't thinking about that really. I was just thinking about the fact that she was studying witchcraft. I couldn't really tell that it was the Darkhold that she was reading into. But it was just mind-boggling how it switched to this. And I think that the way that Sam Raimi was able to tell this story is great. But this is the moment that actually breaks through. This is when we start digging into the multiverse, because America, when she gets afraid, it sparks her powers. It's like what she needs. Well, I didn't know you were. I didn't know you. I know you did a review with Englentine, Dalton. But if you want, I can send you a link as we're recounting. Okay. But as I was saying, now we get into the multiverse aspect, because America gets obviously terrified, and it looks like Wanda's going to get her. But when the star breaks through and sucks, Doctor Strange and America through, Scarlet Witch isn't able to follow as it shuts down. And so she is ready to start digging through the multiverse, digging through the Darkhold once again, with Wong as her prisoner. This is honestly one of my favorite transitions. It reminds me of the first movie whenever you see Doctor Strange first. His astral form is pushed out and he's traveling through space and time, blah, 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 blah. But it's so much cooler because you slip into the realities.
Mm-hmm. He does not say blah, blah, blah.
I don't say blah, blah, blah. That's right. And they eventually do arrive on one of the other universes where there are a lot of flowers.
And it's true, Dalton. We did assume that you were watching baseball because that's what Breen told us.
That is what Breen told us. Breen said, I wouldn't try inviting Dalton to review Doctor Strange. He already did it, and he's watching baseball.
Yep. Go Phillies.
But while I take a second to get the link to Dalton, you go ahead. Recount some of this for us. Go ahead, Frog.
Trying to remember.
We just arrived in another universe.
Flowers everywhere. With America Chavez. And I gotta say, America Chavez wrote this ordinary movie. She was actually kind of nice. She wasn't getting the whole where I'm better than everybody else. She was pretty much, she had her powers, but she didn't know how to control them. She was scared. She was, she didn't. She just wanted to hide. She did not come off as a Mary Sue. That's what I was very thankful for the whole entire movie. The girl did a good job of being an actress and doing that. Yeah, it just kind of came down to the point where it's like, what's going to happen next? But then we get on the new universe. They're walking through, and she's like, they walk across this like little sidewalk, and it has like a little circle there, and it plays back your memories for you. It's like a service they have. So, and we see a scene where he got his watch from Doctor Strange, the flashbacks of memory, where him and Rachel, no, it's Rachel McGowan, but I forgot her name, Christine. When they were back, she gave him a watch, and it's too heartbreaking for him. And then America Chavez kind of see that, but then you see she walks on it too. She walks back, and you see a little 5-second clip about her playing in the field, collecting flowers with her two moms, and then a bee ends up stinging her. She gets freaks out, opens a portal, and sucks her and her two moms into the portal. And we find out the whole reason she's been walking through trying to find her moms. And because she feels horrible. And I love that Dr. Strange even kind of assures her, he's like, they're probably, if they're anything like you, being resilient, they're probably still alive.
Yeah. He does a pep talk, a little pep talk, and America thanks him.
I gotta feel people are gonna say like, "Whoa, the fact that they show that she had two moms is very woke." I'm like, it's in the comic book, bro.
It's there.
The movie.
It's not a big deal. Some people will try to make it a big deal, but it's not. And now we take a moment to welcome the Authenticator, Dalton himself. Hi, Dalton. How are you?
I am okay. I am better after seeing this movie than I thought I was going to be, which is nice.
Yay!
Still not 100% with it. Still wish it had gone a little bit harder in the right direction. But that being said, everyone and their mother saw the title Multiverse of Madness and zeroed in on the term multiverse and just left the of madness part and the Doctor Strange part to the periphery of their imaginations. And Sam Raimi and I appear to be on the same page with regards to the fact that the most interesting part of Multiverse of Madness was the of madness part, the part that evokes John Carpenter and Lovecraft, and therefore we got a Lovecraftian horror comedy for kids like I wanted. We just didn't get Ghostbusters 1 levels of Lovecraftian horror comedy. We got something relatively on par with Ghostbusters Afterlife.
I do like his
or Winter Soldier. In terms of a comic book movie, it's on par with Captain America: Winter Soldier. In terms of horror comedies, it's on par with something like the first Evil Dead, not as good as the second or third one, or Ghostbusters Afterlife, or the movie Happy Death Day, if anyone has seen that. That's my brief review.
You were going to say, Froggy?
I would not compare this movie to Evil Dead. It's a wholly different franchise, but I like the fact there was Evil Dead nods in this, other than a cameo by Bruce Campbell.
No, I'm just based on the fact that it is a Lovecraftian horror comedy. I'm comparing it to other sort of in that same vein horror comedy types.
But what it boils down to is you have to pay the pizza papa.
Let's just say, for those of you who are waiting for a, shall we say, groovy appearance, it happened.
Yes,
it's groovy, baby.
Twice. The very last end credit city, and then also here when they first arrive, she sneaks off and she comes back and where do you go to? It's like, well, the first thing you do on every planet, you look.
Yeah, hail to the king and all that.
But she does go get food, and Bruce Campbell is there to say, "You pay that pizza pop."
Now this is now what Bruce Campbell does next. He basically he's like, hey, you got to pay for that. He's like, don't worry. So then he puts we get the little comedy here. Since they have no money, he basically Dr. Strange puts a spell on him to make him fight himself for the next 3 weeks, which is a callback to Evil Dead 2 when his hand was possessed.
Yes, his hand gets possessed and he ends up having to cut it off. Hence the famous the famous chainsaw hand thing.
Yeah. But we're actually getting to an exciting part here because Doctor Strange at that moment figures out, okay, let's go see the other me. He might be able to help us. But they find out that there is, in fact, a strange museum. Why? Because that universe's Doctor Strange had perished, apparently as a hero, according to the statue. And Mordo is there, as the Sorcerer Supreme.
It's revealed that on the statue he died fighting Thanos.
Yeah. And Mordo welcomes him in like a brother. I was very surprised. I thought this movie was actually going to have I guess we need to address a big bubble here in just a second, but this universe's Mordo is friendly with him. So offers him tea and he starts recounting the story. We don't get to actually see that though, because Doctor Strange, let's say his tea was a little strange.
Yeah, and it's also a nice callback to a subtle joke in the first Doctor Strange movie when the first thing Doctor Strange asked upon meeting the Ancient One when all the mystical stuff starts happening is, "Did you slip psilocybin into my tea?" Which to be fair, he probably should have maintained his, shall we say, tea skepticism, because if he had, this could have been a lot easier.
I want to point out this: they announced that the planet he's on Earth is actually his Earth 838.
Yeah.
It's revealed later that and we'll get to that point, but it's revealed by some people that he's from Earth 616, so they get the little comic reference in there.
Yeah, actually, that's the very next scene, because Doctor Strange, in America.
You know what I think he's going to wake up? Because remember, we saw in Spider-Man No Way Home, they had the dungeon. I thought he was going to wake up in there. But
no,
instead, he's in some research lab in a glass prison.
A bit on where he is, because I think, based on who shows up in a minute and the couple of references to it, I think that's the Baxter Building.
I think so too.
Yes, you're right. That's what they say. They're in the Baxter Institute, and that's where they're being kept to make sure they don't have any diseases and such. And they're looking in. And Christine Palmer of that universe, new Doctor Strange, but works there, working in multiversal research.
She works for the Baxter Foundation.
Yep, she's the one who actually.
She's the night nurse.
Yeah, she's actually the one who designates the MCU as 616.
Which bothers me a little bit, in the sense that I would have preferred if the Marvel Cinematic Universe had its own multiverse designation. I'm still on the side that it should have been Earth 9999 or 1999.
As originally it was.
As originally it was, because now I'm looking and going, if this is supposed to be Earth 616, then you have done a bad job. I was more lenient. I was more lenient on the differences, because it's supposed to be a different universe if it's Earth 9999 or 19999.
A lot of nines.
But if this is supposed to be Earth 616, then you suck at your job. Bad movie. Keep the multiverse designations that it should have.
The MCU is not 616. I don't know why they try to say he's from 616. He's not.
Well, Christine is the one who designates it as 616.
It makes sense that she says that, because she's not that smart as she thinks she is.
It does make more sense to me, considering like when you watch say The Flash, and they say, oh, this is Earth 2, and everyone has the same number designation. That doesn't make any sense. Let's be honest. Everyone's going to number the other realities differently, because that's how society works.
So anyway, let's move on. He's basically taken away on the handcuffs. They're using the sands of, what is it? What's in the cuffs, man? The green thing, it's the sands of Ashanti, or what is it?
The sands of Nashanti. It's a spell that negates. It's a spell that negates the use of magic, and it shows up a couple of times in the comics. Although usually when it shows up in the comics, it's literally it conjures an hourglass, and the magic is suspended for as long as the sands are counting. That's how the spell.
You want to remind me of? The Flash with the meta cuffs.
Yeah, it was definitely Medicuff kind of.
But anyway, this is the.
But at least they tried to explain it within magic based justifications, kind of.
So he's led through this hallway, and he's being accompanied by a bunch of Ultron robots.
Yes.
So I was like, are they going to show Iron Man in this, or is Iron Man dead? Because apparently, there's no mention of him whatsoever. So he might be dead in this. Maybe he's dead in all the universes.
I was expecting.
Or maybe Reed. Maybe Reed is the one who got the Ultron protocol to actually work this time. Hey, Reed.
So he's led to the next room, and he's like the Illuminati. He's like the Illuminati. Yep. The little joke he did, and then it's revealed that holy crap! As you introduce them, we see I think it was we see what's her name is Captain Marvel. Who is basically not Brie Larson? It's the other lady,
Maria Rambeau.
Maria Rambeau, Monica's mother, and friend of Carol in the first movie that almost took the test flight in her place.
And then followed by her, we get Captain Britain.
Captain Carter.
Captain Carter is what they call her.
Whatever.
Captain Britain is completely different. Captain Britain wields Excalibur, and if they don't bring in Captain Britain at some point wielding Excalibur, I'm going to be mad, but never mind.
So she's involved in this. Not only that, I was like, this can't get any better. And then John Krasinski walks in as Reed Richards. I just shit my pants.
Reed Richards is elastic.
I guess. So now my thing is this: you can't have him in here. It's just a cameo, and let's recast him when the movie comes out.
No. I think this is a way of saying he's in here in the multiverse because there's either going to be a Reed Richards of our universe shortly, or there already is one, and we just haven't seen him yet.
Yep. So what a way to introduce! But we also—that's the other big thing. The 1997 X-Men theme starts playing. We see the yellow wheelchair hovering.
Charles Xavier.
And green suit.
Patrick Stewart. Wow, I can't believe I guess he still is acting. Isn't he doing something?
There's also one more person there. Black Bolt. It's actually the guy who played him in the Inhumans show, which we don't talk about a lot.
But gone are all the Scott Buckisms. Gone are all the attempts to ground the Inhumans. This Black Bolt is a Black Bolt who, with a whisper, can crack a planet. And this is not a person who can speak at a human volume and just a building falls down.
Now, this is important too, what you're saying, because this one can kill the wizard, because it's revealed that their Doctor Strange, in order to defeat Thanos, used the Darkhold.
Yep. Dug into
Why he didn't try to use the Book of the Vishanti, I won't know.
I don't know either, but it's go to wing. So because he became corrupt, he stood behind Illuminati. He said, you know what? He said this whole entire foundation, all this stuff, he started to play it because there's a multiverse, and it eventually, another one of these is going to come along, and the most dangerous person in the universe is me.
Well, I mean, that might be Strange being, self-centered again.
Yeah.
Strange does that.
But, so he basically, we see a flashback on Titan, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we see him on the ground, and then Black Bolt whispers. He says,
just
sorry.
Destroys him.
And did you see him?
I can't believe we've seen this in the MCU. Honestly.
He's gone, and the ground around him is like cracked as though it's like small ditch or a small canyon, actually.
He really, really, really barely spoke because.
Again, if he had spoken at a human volume, that moon would not be there, and Saturn itself probably wouldn't be there, right?
I think half the universe would probably be gone or just pushed around.
Yeah. Also, we have to say that this there's a sidestep where the Darkhold is actually destroyed. Yes. And I know, deep breath, Dalton, deep breath. I knew you wouldn't like that. But it's revealed that the Darkhold is in this universe actually just written from what was originally written in stone. somewhere else.
In the castle of the Darkhold, built by Cthon on Wundagore Mountain, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, and they actually do get there, and there are creatures there. It looks like there's a moment you hear.
They almost look like golems or golems, we call them.
They do. But obviously, I know they aren't golems.
It's revealed that
that's what they look.
Because she forced Wong to take her to the castle, and it's revealed that she's not. It's actually she's there to be a queen and rule. But she says, I don't want to rule the universe and all that stuff. I just want my kids.
Well, yeah, because she is, and this is somewhat backstory from WandaVision, the Scarlet Witch has been prophesied for possibly millennia, although at least several hundred years, because they already knew about her back in Salem, 1692. But she's essentially supposed to be the avatar / high priestess of Cthon, and so his demons consider her like their high priestess.
Yeah, and there's a statue of her there. She looks good in statue form too. But they bow. These creatures bow, and she uses the place as she starts digging through, and she's able to dreamwalk into the other universe's Wanda.
But before she does that, though, she yeets Wong over the cliff.
Yes, she does. Yeet Wong. Indeed.
He survives because the Sorcerer Supreme don't go down that easy, and Wong is currently the Sorcerer Supreme.
I'm surprised he didn't have any blood on his forehead, because where he landed.
I knew he survived, but I can't address why. So there. Legally. But here we get to see as she takes over this other form. She tried earlier, but she was cut off. And this poor innocent Wanda just has her kids there, and it seems all nice and normal. But now this Wanda needs America. And so she heads to the Baxter Institute. The Illuminati told Strange that, we'll be able to handle your witch. We'll be able to handle her.
Yeah, she needs the power of America Chavez so her physical body go over. Because right now she can only possess for so long.
Yep. Yeah.
It is so great.
The magic users of the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse, I guess we should now start calling it, can only astral project into other universes. In order to physically traverse the multiverse, you need the powers of someone like America Chavez to open portals for you.
Yep.
So it's really cool. You see her when she goes to seek out on that planet, on that Earth where America Chavez is hiding out. She seeks out that she. Actually, no, before this, I guess. Wait, were they on? They were on the planet where she wanted to go to with her kids. No, because she used she possessed the Wanda.
Well, she knows where they are, and she just figures that universe will have a Wanda, which of course it does, and it just so happens that it seems like every universe but our Wanda, or every Wanda but our Wanda, is happy with her kids, and that probably rubs a little bit of salt in the wound.
The reason I asked because at the end, before I don't know spoil, but you saw that Wanda had a bruise or cut on her forehead, just like the one that was going after Dr. Strange she possessed.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's meant to be the same one. I don't think so, though. I think it's meant to be a recurring thing that at some point in the Scarlet Witch's timeline, she's always happy with her kids. Okay. Even our Wanda did the whole Westview thing, and ethical ambiguities because mind control and whatnot. But at the very least, for the briefest of time, she was doing the suburban happy life thing.
But let's talk about that scene with the suburban happy life. Where she first uses the Darkhold to possess the other Wanda, and you see Evil Dead 2 references where she's in the kitchen. The lights start moving, everything else stuff. You see the camera angle heading behind the stairs stuff. Holy crap! This is like the cabin all over again, but like in a kitchen. I thought that was kind of a cool callback to Evil Dead 2.
Well, it's Sam Raimi shot, and Sam Raimi loves him some Hammer horror references, and that's kind of where Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 and so on get their aesthetic from.
And that's another example why I was so happy that Sam Raimi directed this, because I love the Evil Dead when they show through the demon thing and it's going across the land and stuff. I love the camera angles he does. It just works out really well for this too, and I'm thankful that it did work out in this scene.
You know what I want to talk about?
Your mother?
No. I want to talk about Billy and Tommy's mother, because she approaches the Baxter Institute and she instantly gets in. And so the Illuminati, and they're about to decide what to do, but most of them go ahead and go. So like Captain Carter, Captain Marvel, Black Bolt, and Mr. Fantastic go to talk to Wanda. And there's this conversation. John Krasinski has been a fan cast for a long time. I wasn't sure. I thought, okay, that may be okay. I'm convinced now, because here he's there and he's saying to Wanda, listen, I understand. I understand what it's like. I mean, I have kids, so I understand.
Talk her down.
Mm-hmm. And, she just turns him into like putty. He just kind of.
Don't forget what she asks him beforehand, because it's actually an interesting both villainous moment for her and also an interesting character moment for her, because she asks.
So, do they have a mother?
Is their mother still alive?
Yeah. That question. Yeah, she's like, good. We'll have someone to take care of her.
Yeah, and at that moment, Mr. Fantastic says, "Listen, Wanda, Black Bolt here can destroy you with one word from his mouth." And Wanda asks, "What mouth?" We see Black Bolt. His mouth is gone. He tries to say a word. It caves in his own head. Yep. It's brutal.
Yes.
PG-13. This is PG-13?
His skull is effectively made of Play-Doh for all intents and purposes.
So after that, we see Captain Carter, and then we see also Captain Marvel start taking on Wanda. And it seems like they're almost going to get an upper hand. And here's a line we get to see, this is my, okay, don't listen to this. This might trigger you very much. She's like, and Wanda says, give us up. He's like, are you done yet? She's like, and Captain Carter says, I could do this all day. She uses Steve Rogers' line.
Yeah, but then she throws the shield.
Yes,
and Wanda throws it back.
Oh, yes, right.
And it splits Captain Carter in half, like it split Zombie Cap in half in the What If Marvel Zombies episode. Yeah. And the best part of the cavalcade of death scenes here, when it comes time to square up with Maria Rambeau Captain Marvel, Wanda is able to absorb the energy from Captain Marvel and go, that's a nice cosmic power you have and everything, but I think it's mine now, and you can just get crushed by a giant statue because you're human again, so bye.
Yep.
That seems to be what happens, yeah.
So while this is going on in the other room, it's basically Doctor Strange from our Earth talking to Charles Xavier, and Charles Xavier says, he says, you know what? He said, hold on. He said there's a callback to the
Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past. It says, just because someone stumbles and loses their way doesn't mean they're lost forever.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that was so cool. I mean, his little scenes. You see, Charles Xavier is the last person to basically go against Wanda. After
because she's about to get to America.
He left because he said that before. Then he leaves the room to go confront Wanda, and he goes inside her mind. You hear the X-Men kind of music. I think was it playing then, or was it before when he introduced them?
When they introduced them, that's when the theme started.
So this was crazy, and this is still a trip. And you can see how old this guy is when you see him standing up, walking in her mind. He finds the actual real Wanda, the host, and she's trapped under a boulder, and you just hear bombs. It's like a war zone going off, and then here comes this dark, bright, it's kind of like pinkish red cloud comes up behind him, and then just basically she just snaps his neck, and you see him in actual the real world.
Yeah, She snaps his neck in the mindscape, and it carries over into reality.
Yep.
Yeah, but that gave time for Christine and America to escape. This left Mordo and Doctor Strange, and there's a very cool fight scene. He's able to stop Mordo from using magic by breaking out of one of the cuffs and putting it essentially on him, and they fist fight most of it, but he's able to leap up and get out.
But this is also a funny part though too. He's like, he says like, you're just like the Mordo on my Earth. You couldn't wait till this Doctor Strange died because you're greedy. You took advantage of this.
He was trying to what's it called? Goad him.
Yeah. And the hand-to-hand combat scene I thought was again a nice subtle reference to the first movie when Mordo and Strange are sparring in Camartage, and Mordo says something to the effect of, "You have to learn how to fight because someday it might come down to being able to fight harder than the next guy."
Yeah. And it did. But ultimately they get back together, and there's an epic running scene from Wanda as they're trying to find the Book of Ashanti. There's a chamber that accesses it. And ultimately they're able to trap Wanda for a second and get to it. But as they get the book, Wanda appears, and the book also gets destroyed. I know, Dalton. Deep breath, Dalton. I know.
Okay, but if there are different copies of the Darkhold throughout the multiverse, then that means there is somewhere another Book of the Ashanti. And it's kind of weird that both Defender Strange at the beginning and 883 Christine go for the same copy of the Book of Ashanti. So if it turns out that there's only one, I'm going to be mad, because that means I don't get the Vishanti at some point, which would make me very, very, very upset indeed. Well, but I will say this. One thing they could have done that would have been interesting is they get to the podium and the book is no longer there because Sorceress that gets, burnt alive by Wanda stabs the Darkhold and destroys it. And if you know anything about the comics, the Darkhold was written by Cthon, the oldest and strongest of the Elder Gods. Mm-hmm. And his younger sister, Aztur, and her two associates, Agamotto and Hoggoth, create the Book of Ashanti to counter him, and then bind those two books together so that anything that happens to one of the books will happen to the other, such that if a new dark magic spell is discovered and gets written in the Darkhold, its counterspell will automatically be written in the Book of the Vishanti. And so, too, if you rip out a spell in the Darkhold, the Book of the Vishanti spell that corresponds with it will get destroyed. So if the Darkhold gets destroyed, then the Book of Vishanti should go along with it. So that would have been a nice touch if they had gone that route.
Well,
I'm kind of upset they didn't go that route, but I will take it because that means there is multiple copies of the Book of the Vishanti, and that means that we will, hopefully, God's willing, the Vishanti willing, we will get the Vishanti and hopefully some other cosmic entities in Doctor Strange 3.
Well, there's a reason why, but we'll address that at the end here, okay? Just a minute. Because Wanda catches up, the book is destroyed. She takes America and holds her and forces her to open up a portal. And she pushes Doctor Strange and Christine through before making America go back to her Earth. Pushes America through, portal closes, and the dream walking ends. And that Earth Wanda's just like, hey, wait, where are my kids? And hops through. So now Strange and Christine are lost in a corrupted universe because of an incursion, as discussed earlier. And so they decide they need to look for the other Doctor Strange. So that's what they do as Wanda is basically getting America ready for her ritual. But
on a table that kind of looks like the Mayan sacrificing tables.
yes, but they find the other Doctor Strange, the other Sanctum Sanctorum, and in there is not Sinister Strange. It's not Strange Supreme from the What If story.
Yeah, and I don't know why people assumed that it was, because it doesn't look anything like he would look in live action, and also actual Sinister Strange from What If, his universe gets straight up dusted entirely. Like there is no world left at the end. There's only one minor pocket that Doctor Strange makes out of fractal wards and shields, so that he can continue existing.
I want to point out, when they walk in, they see the stairs, and you see this table, and you see the ocean. They're on a beach. I want to live there. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's very cool. But he
and
goes.
All it'll cost you is the destruction of all reality.
That's all. That's all, Froggy.
I can afford it.
But
at the Wanda tomb.
Here we see Sinister Strange, as he is the protector of the Darkhold now, and he explains that basically his universe got torn apart, but he will go ahead and give this Doctor Strange at the Darkhold, our Doctor Strange at the Darkhold, if, well, he goes ahead and gives his Christine out there.
Yeah,
but
he's like
the Christine he came with, which is Illuminati universe. Christine.
Absolutely, and
he's like, hey, I like your Christine over there.
Yeah, and
it honestly, and this is a weird reference, but it reminded me of a scene in Stephen King's The Stand, where one of the main characters, Larry Underwood, is traveling with a woman named Rita Blakemore, and somebody offers him $1 million to sleep with her for 15 minutes. But of course, this is in a post-apocalyptic world where money has no value, so the answer is no, and it would have been no anyway. But never mind. But it did remind me of that. Maybe it's because I've been reading The Stand recently, but that was where my brain went. Just 15 minutes with the girl. That's all I need.
I really enjoyed this fight between the two strangers because they end up using musical notes.
Yeah, my favorite scene in the movie. Gosh dang it, I love that.
I thought you might like it. I wasn't sure.
Best fight scene in the movie, because as I have said for years, and I think I might have even made the suggestion that they should have Doctor Strange fight with music a couple of times. You can go back and check if you don't believe me. So if Sam Raimi borrowed that from one of our streams,
sure,
by all means, go right ahead, Sam. But I've always said that Doctor Strange deals with the fundamental forces of nature, so he shouldn't have to shoot fire at you. He should be able to literally make the concept of fire itself tangible and throw that at you, or throw like mathematical constructs and equations at you, or music. And this fight involves both Doctor Stranges fighting with music in kind of a similar manner to how Polka Dot Man uses his polka dots in Suicide Squad 2, if anyone has seen Suicide Squad 2, which is amazing also, by the way.
But we do need to speed along because we're supposed to be wrapping up soon. But I will say that this fight is awesome. I absolutely agree.
Weaponized music is for the win, basically.
Yep. And, Sinister Strange is yeeted out of the building. And so Doctor Strange gets Christine in there, and he sets up the spell because he's going to dreamwalk. But he needs her to protect his body from the souls of the damned. And what does he dreamwalk into? Well, he doesn't have a Strange on his universe.
Strange.
Yeah, he goes into the dead body of Doctor Strange that we saw at the beginning of this movie.
With the ponytail.
Yeah, so Zombie Strange, all this time we thought, oh, Zombie Strange, that's going to be epic. This is actually our Doctor Strange possessing the body. And
Darkhold, yes. And then
I don't know. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Because remember he told Christine, now protect my body because the demons are going to, the spirits are going to go after me because performing illegal magic, pretty much here. And they do. And then she uses Dalton, you know what that was? Some kind of lantern. She lights it.
I believe I know what that is. I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head. It gets referenced in the first Doctor Strange movie, the one that it's the relic that Caecilius was afraid of until he realized that Strange didn't know actually how to use the thing, and then it was discarded. But yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, so she uses that, and then she, he's kind of seizing her, and then she basically gives him words of wisdom. She says, "Hey, you're basically Doctor Strange. You're the most powerful sorcerers I know. Use them. They're magic.
Yeah, you're a sorcerer, and those are spirits. Get to some conjuring here."
And he turns them
into a cape, actually. Yeah.
Yes, he turns him into a
Black
soul cloak that's trying to get away, but he uses it because he's able to fly straight through. Wong comes into the picture, and it is an epic final battle. But even then, the Scarlet Witch is so darn powerful that it doesn't seem to, it's not enough. And so we see Zombie Strange, which is Doctor Strange, tell America she can control her power. She needs to focus. She needs to use it. She has purpose with every portal that she opens. She can do this. And so she is able to break free, and she starts punching Wanda using that multiversal punch. And ultimately, she's saying, I can't defeat you, to Wanda. And so she gives her what she wants. She opens the portal to the universe where she possessed Wanda. And the kids are terrified of her. They say that she's a monster. And Scarlet Witch gets on her knees and she just cries as the other Wanda eventually gets back up, because Wanda knocked her down, and went over and says, know that they'll be know that they'll be loved.
Wait, she got knocked down, but then she got up again? You're never going to keep her down?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Okay, but it's actually worth noting that this is basically exactly what Doctor Strange tells her at the beginning of the movie when they first have this conversation. That universe over there has a Wanda too. What are you going to do? Take our kids away from her? And of course, Wanda, in theory, is like, well, yes, of course I'll do that. But when actually being faced with doing it, when actually being faced with a version of herself that's happy with her kids, and also her kids being like, you're not our mother, you're a monster, she breaks down. It's a nice touch to be like, things are fine to do in theory, but actually going through with it is a different matter, which I kind of like, actually.
Yeah, and so Wanda, the good Wanda, the one that's the mother of the boys, says, don't worry, they'll be loved.
Yep, and she
realizes what happened, the fact that this is a grieving mother, a version of her, and she takes pity on her.
Yeah. So, I know what I would do if anything ever happened to them, I think is what the line is.
Yeah.
But we get to see after that the portal closes, and Wanda, she bows her head, and the tomb starts shaking. Zombie Strange tells America to just go because he's half burnt alive.
So her and Wong leave through the star portal. Yep. And then Wanda's like, I need to end this. And basically commit suicide.
She says, I'm going to close this. I started this. I'm going to end it. And
she's not dead.
Of course, she's dead.
No Marvel.
She was the most powerful person in the MCU.
Now Captain Marvel is the.
This destroys the Darkhold in every other universe, though.
Yes. And this also, I gotta say though, the only character that's going to stay at the end of the MCU is Steve and Iron Man.
We'll see.
Arno Stark, step on up.
But things from there look good. This is pretty much the end of the movie. Doctor Strange at that moment. You have America training at Carmitage.
I did like the fact that we glossed over that. America Chavez finally summoned up her courage and actually punched her.
Yeah.
Before showing up over the portal.
She's the one who did it. Yeah.
I just want to point out again that America Chavez's character was not written as a little character in this.
No. They sanded off all the rough edges. There's no Spanglish. There's no unnecessary confrontationalness like with Captain Marvel or like with the A-Force thing in Endgame or any of that.
Yeah. I really appreciate the fact that she was not written as a Mary Sue.
I will say America does seem to be training at Carmitage, and she'll probably be there a little while. We don't know where she'll go from here. But Doctor Strange, afterwards, he's happy. I think he's content. He's dealt with Christine. Yeah. He said goodbye to her as she went back to her original universe. And he seems happy. So we get to see him just walk down the street. And
then he starts having a headache.
Yeah, then he doubles over in pain, and as the Ancient One said in the first Doctor Strange, or implied that would happen in the first Doctor Strange, his eye finally opens, and we see Doctor Strange with 3 eyes.
But after that, there's an end credit scene. We see actually Clea appear and saying, Doctor Strange, you've made a mess of things. You got to clean up. And Doctor Strange opens his 3rd eye again, saying that he's ready. So I guess
they jump into the dark dimension, which Clea is able to rip an opening to. Also, Clea is played by Charlize Theron, which I think she can hold her own with the cast. So that'll be nice. I would have casted Tatiana Maslany as Clea, but she's already busy doing She-Hulk, so whatever.
And there's one final credit scene at the very end.
Let's leave that for the viewers. Let people watch it. Come on.
The whole episode's been all spoilers. We spoiled the whole entire freaking movie.
I mean, yeah, Bruce Campbell callback is the last post credit scene. It doesn't really amount to anything other than it's kind of like how at the end of Deadpool it references, I think it's Wayne's World. The movie's over, go home. It's kind of like that.
Yep.
Well, it's not Wayne's World. It's Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Oh, yeah, Ferris Bueller. Right?
But you're right. Here, go ahead, Froggy. You take the last bit.
Oh, he just says it's finally over.
Yep, because he stops punching himself. Yep. But it is a fantastic movie. We're not going to go into rankings because we have to go. We have things to do. But we did love this movie. We're glad that we got to recap it with you. Even though... Huh?
I just want to say real quickly, on the subject of Bruce Campbell, Evil Dead PC game comes out next week, Friday the 13th.
Groovy.
Yep.
But... that is pretty much it. I want to thank Froggy and Dalton for joining me, of course, for this fantastic review. Go watch this movie. If you haven't, you're missing out on one of the best MCU movies, period.
Yeah, it's a Lovecraftian horror comedy for kids on par with the first Pirates of the Caribbean movie. That's about what you're getting here.
Groovy.
11 out of 28 in my MCU ranking, if anyone's curious. Not as good as Civil War, not as good as No Way Home, but about as good as Winter Soldier.
Actually, I like this better than No Way Home. There was no Ned.
I'm struggling. But thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next time. It's over!